Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight, it was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What can this slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm gonna burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. What the slump yesterday is. The slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you with Toadstool Sports as my camera doesn't focus here. It is Monday, Marathon Monday, April 20th. A lot of times I will talk about the marathon. I have bet it before, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say that because you can't do it at the actual books that you're allowed to use. This one, I mean, this wasn't one of the ones that I was really interested in. Like, the 2 favorites were Coors, however you pronounce his name, the guy that won it last year, but it's really difficult to win it 2 years in a row, obviously, after you do that the previous year, and I think he won it with, like, a ridiculous score as well. And I think the other guy was the guy that came in second last year, Simbu or something like that. I forget his name, but that guy obviously has experience with it and did well in this particular race last year and had a really good time. Just came in second because he was up against somebody else that ran a really good race. So probably I would have gone with him in this one as some sort of underdog price. But I don't know what I'm doing with the marathon, man. Whatever. We're going to talk about baseball. The Red Sox have an earlier game today. I do have a play in that game. And I'm going to have a play in hockey, and I'm skipping the NBA today, and that's all I got today. We need to get back on track. Yesterday, Kansas City gave up like 4 home runs, and they couldn't score anything, so that was just awesome. The game was dead, like right away. Cole Reagans had 4 walks in the first inning. He settled down after that, I think, but it was just the game was already over at that point. There's nothing you could do. And then Texas-Seattle, we had to dodge that. We had to get no runs in the last, 3 innings of the game to push. It pushed, but 0-1 in one day. Not happy about it. Let's move on to today. Let's go. First game up is at 11 a.m., 11:10 a.m., because it needs to coincide with the Boston Marathon, as the Boston Marathon runs sort of in that vicinity, finishes on Boylston Street near the public library, which is, that specifically is probably about a 20-minute walk from where Fenway is, but you know what I mean. It's the city is mobbed, and people start showing up. Well, people already are going to be at the finish line, but people kind of start showing up there. I think the marathon usually finishes, I don't know, sometime after the Red Sox game begins. I don't know why they do it at this specific time, but whatever it is, it's a madhouse in Boston. I've been to the Red Sox game on this day before, and it's total insanity. Hard to get around. Public transportation's absolutely packed. People come in from all over the world for the marathon. Whatever, it's insane. I don't even know how many people are going to show up at this Red Sox game, but the Red Sox tend to have a little bit of an advantage in this game for whatever reason, because I think they're the only team that really does something like this, so they're at least used to playing this weird time. At this weird time, I should say. This is one of the best bets. And we are actually going to be on the Red Sox on the money line here. to even this series against Detroit. Everybody's pretty much shitting on the Red Sox. It's a bad state of affairs. They just lost another game with Garrett Crochet on the mound. Whatever. Last time Crochet lost, though, actually, I was going to say we took the Red Sox to bounce back at one point. They did, but that was 2 games after that against Minnesota. It was the last game of that series, though. So we're going to do it again. We're going to take them to bounce back after 2 losses. Again, this time at home. I think the Red Sox do have the better bullpen, so we will go with that. They have the 4th best bullpen, which has been one of the only good things about the team. Detroit's isn't bad, but still think the Red Sox have a little bit of an advantage there. Detroit's offense has been better. They've been middle of the pack, but the Red Sox offense has been terrible. But I weigh pitching over hitting, as you know. Red Sox only used 2 relief pitchers yesterday. Some of their best relievers are available today. So the bullpen's in decent shape for this. Detroit used a couple of their better relievers yesterday. Did not use their closer, but they used 3 relief pitchers yesterday. And I think we have a starting pitching edge with the Red Sox here. We're going to fade Jack Flaherty. I mean, I know his numbers don't look too bad for Detroit here. 4.05 ERA, 1.4 whip. The whip is not good, though, and he has walked 3 or more guys in every single outing. I know his last 2 outings, he only allowed 1 run apiece, but that doesn't tell the whole story because, again, his command numbers are an issue. He's got 21 strikeouts, 14 walks on the season. That's not good. 14 hits allowed in 20 innings is good, but the command basically tells you that he should regress a little bit as far as the runs that he allows. And the Red Sox have hit him pretty well in 59 at-bats. 23-4 strikeout walk ratio is a good ratio, but 305 batting average allowed, 824 OPS. Those are not good numbers. So I think the Red Sox do have the ability to hit Flaherty here. I think they could do it. I think the Red Sox do have the starting pitching edge here. Otherwise, I would not be doing this. Sonny Gray pitching for the Red Sox. Okay numbers, 4.43 ERA, but he does have the better whip here, 1.28. You'd like to see a little bit better than that. He did have his worst start last time out against Minnesota. I don't know what that was exactly, a hard-hitting Minnesota team. The one concern with Gray is his strikeout rate is down at 11 and 20 in the 3rd innings, but he's only allowed 4 walks, so that's not too bad. 22 hits allowed isn't great, but his command still seems to be all right. His problem recently has been that he's getting older and he is a little bit more hittable than usual, but I think he can get through this game, even though he is going up against a team that has seen him a bit because he used to be in this division for a bit when he was on Minnesota, but that wasn't that recent, and his numbers against Detroit are actually really good. In 71 at-bats, 34-2 strikeout walk ratio, 141 batting average allowed, 359 OPS, so he has really good numbers against them. I think he's going to be able to get through this one again. His ground ball rate has been good, which plays well in Fenway. He had 2 good starts prior to that start against Minnesota. His best starts were both at home as well, so he's been much better at home so far this year. So I think we could do it. We'll take Sonny Gray here. We'll take the Red Sox here to get this win in this weird Monday scheduling spot, Marathon Monday. Some people call it Miracle Monday because the Red Sox have had multiple walk-off wins in this game in their history. One of them, I believe, was an Alex Cora hit, and he is their manager now. Oh, man. Red Sox are up from -105 to -133. I see -135 as the best price. I think it's still reasonable enough. 63% of tickets, 79% of the cash on the Red Sox. We'll do it. Red Sox money line is the first play. And my only baseball play. Houston at Cleveland. So some of these series are beginning anew here. Houston, you got to think they're going to try to bounce back. I mean, they've lost 4 games in a row at home to Colorado and then getting swept by St. Louis. That is just ridiculous. St. Louis, I know their record is good, but they're not a good team. Now going out on the road, maybe Houston going out on the road can help, man. When you have like a bad homestand, you're not playing well. One of the best things for us is to just go out on the road, focus on baseball. So that could be what they do here. Couple of those losses were pretty close as well, which I think when you lose as a favorite, you tend to bounce back more often than if you have like a close loss as an underdog. They're going to be playing at Cleveland here. Cleveland is staying at home. They did just win a series against Baltimore. Might be feeling a little bit better about themselves here, staying at home. Now, of course, Cleveland does have a huge edge in the bullpen. Houston's bullpen has been bad, although they're now fourth worst. So there are a few bullpens that are worse than that. Cleveland's has struggled as well, though. Personnel-wise, they should be the better bullpen, and, well, statistically they are, but they're still 17th, and their bullpen ERA is really bad. Offensively, Houston does have the edge there. They have the third best offensive OPS. Cleveland is 18th, so we will give Houston the offensive edge. What else is new? Houston did use 4 relief pitchers yesterday, so you don't like to see that. So whatever you want to do with this game, I would probably want to avoid Houston's bullpen. Cleveland did use 4 relief pitchers as well, though, and I guess what I will say is that Cleveland does not have the greatest bullpen, so their advantage in the bullpen is not that gigantic. Spencer Arrighetti is pitching for Houston. We have the matchup of the Italians. Arrighetti against Ciccone in this game. Arrighetti has only made 1 start this season, but it was pretty good. He went 6 innings. He gave up 3 hits, 1 earned run against Colorado. 4 walks was a problem, but maybe you give him a pass for that because it was his first game of the season. Maybe he was a little bit shakier. He also had 10 strikeouts, so that was good. Maybe we dial it back a little bit because it was against Colorado. Colorado still, even though their offensive statistics aren't that bad, I still don't think they're a good offense. Arrighetti did throw 100 pitches, so there is the worry that he might be a little bit tired after that, but that was a good outing from him. So with that one outing, he has a 1.5 ERA and 1.17 whip. I think he's a decent pitcher. And against, who are we going up against here? Cleveland, right? Yeah. Against Cleveland, they only have 11 at-bats against him. They only have 1 hit, and it's a double by another Italian, Rocchio. 4-4 strikeout walk ratio is not that good. 0.91 batting average allowed, 557 OPS, though. So his numbers are pretty good. Very small sample, though, against Cleveland. Slade Ciccone pitching for Cleveland. He has not great numbers this year. 5.03 ERA, 1.37 whip. The walks have definitely been an issue for him. 10 walks in 19 2/3 innings. That's not good. Cleveland, in fact, has lost all 4 of his starts so far, all 4 of his appearances. I think they were all starts. 18-10 strikeout walk ratio. It's not good enough. It's too many walks. 17 hits allowed is fine, but the walks have been his issue, man. He walked 5 guys in his last outing against St. Louis, so it looks like his form might not be the best right now. His only good start was his only home start, though, so you got to take that into account, that he does appear to be better at home based on that 1 start, and he is at home here. Going against, will he feel at home, though? Going against Houston, though, his numbers are not good. In 19 at-bats, 5-2 strikeout walk ratio, 316 average allowed, 907 OPS. So I think Houston does have a starting pitching edge and a situational edge. The money is actually back in Cleveland. I don't really agree with it, though. Cleveland down from minus 125 to minus 108 on the money line. 56% of the tickets are on Houston. Public, they like the hitting, man. The public, I guess, doesn't care about recency here, where Houston has lost a bunch of games. I'm kind of surprised by that they're backing Houston here. Cleveland was 65% of the cash. I don't really agree. I would probably go Houston first 5 innings money line in this game. Go with the starting pitching to be in Houston's favor here. It looks like it is. Houston might get off on the right foot here because I think the situation is better for Houston. I wouldn't disagree with going Houston full game either, but the bullpen is definitely more of a disadvantage to them. So I think first 5 Houston makes sense in that game. Dirty Sock, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. Go Red Sox, I guess. They fucking suck, dude. Kyle, what's up? This is just a joke. They have to fire their coaching, finally. It's not the personnel. They have a talented team. When your talented team is all underperforming, you know that it's managing, it's coaching. They got to fire them. A 5-inning win from Arrighetti? Maybe. Pete, what's up, man? Yeah, like I said, I think I would just go first 5, with Houston there to be leading after 5 innings. Don't worry about the bullpens. Cincinnati at Tampa Bay. Cincinnati is coming off a sweep of Minnesota, having to travel from Minnesota to Tampa Bay. Sometimes maybe not the greatest spot, coming off of a sweep to have to make a travel leg like that. Tampa Bay is returning home from a road trip, though, and, I talk about how that's usually not a good spot. It was only a 2-series road trip, but they are coming back from Chicago and Pittsburgh. They did lose the series to Pittsburgh, but returning home a lot of times, it throws you off. You got to get back to home life. The home life could be a distraction, whatever, so maybe not the best spot for Tampa Bay here. As far as the bullpen usage yesterday, Tampa Bay used 2 relief pitchers. That's not too bad, but their bullpen had heavy usage on Saturday, and their bullpen has not performed well this year. So Cincinnati does have a better bullpen. They used 4 relief pitchers yesterday, though. So the usage yesterday was definitely heavier on the Cincinnati side. But Cincinnati does have the better bullpen here. Right now, they're 13th in whip. Tampa Bay is somewhere near the bottom, 21st. Tampa Bay's bullpen ERA is pretty bad, though. So their bullpen definitely has been struggling, although I kind of think it's going to start getting a little bit better. Tampa Bay has hit pretty well this year at 10th. The Reds have been dead last. This is in OPS. So the Reds offense has really struggled so far, despite playing in a hitter-friendly ballpark. But they will have to play at the Trop today, which is maybe not as hitter-friendly. Tampa Bay, though, we don't know who their starter is going to be. Makes it difficult to handicap. They have not listed a starter here. Rhett Lauder is going to pitch for Cincinnati. He's been pretty good so far this year, 3.52 ERA, 1.13 whip. His issue really has kind of been the walks as well, I guess I would say. He's not a huge strikeout guy. He's got 15 strikeouts in 23 innings, 7 walks. That ratio is not that good, but it's not that bad. And then 19 hits allowed in 23 innings. So really, it's not really that bad overall. He's allowed 4 fewer runs in all of his outings. The Reds have won 3 of the 4 outings. So, yeah, he's definitely been at least serviceable here for the Reds here. Using his command, to get through these games here. And the Rays have never seen him before, which I think is an advantage to some of these young pitchers when they haven't been seen before by the opposing hitters. The hitters kind of have to take a while to figure them out. So I'm going to lean to Cincinnati here. I think situationally, bullpen edge, even though they did use 4 relief pitchers yesterday. Starting pitching, to me, looks like it's going to be an advantage. I don't know if Tampa's going to go with a bullpen game here or what they're going to do. Hard to say because we don't know, but we are getting the Reds at a little bit of an underdog price here with Tampa at -120. I'll lean to the Reds, but again, we don't have enough information to necessarily go on for that game. Do with that information what you want. By the way, as far as information goes, that Royals-Yankees game, I think the rain delay, there was a huge rain delay that delayed the start of that game. I wasn't even sure if the starters were going to start in that game yesterday. That was one of those games where when you play the game, to like listed starting pitchers must start in the game or whatever, and you play it that way. You have a chance that your bet is just not going to happen, and it's going to push because the starting pitchers might not actually start. But in that game, they did. So at least I think they did. So, yeah. So it wound up counting, whatever. I'm also mad that, my gauge on Toronto, I was completely against the market in that Toronto game, but they absolutely bombed Ryan Nelson in that game. So I was correct about that game. I was not correct about the Philadelphia side, though. I don't know, or Minnesota. So my gauge wasn't too great yesterday, all things considered. Not happy about it. But yes, the starting pitchers did both go in that Royal Yankee game yesterday. I have no voice right now, man. I don't think I can even do this show today. St. Louis at Miami. We have 11 baseball games today, I think. Miami just beat Milwaukee. Maybe you could argue that's going to be a letdown spot, but they're staying at home, and they ended a 4-game losing streak. So a lot of times when a team ends a losing streak, they will have some new momentum. So maybe that will be the case with Miami here. St. Louis is overperforming right now, man, and they're traveling in from Houston. They just swept Houston. They've won 5 games in a row. I'm not buying this at all, this start for St. Louis. I'm really not. So I think they could be in maybe a bigger letdown here after a sweep where they were an underdog in every single game. I don't know if I love St. Louis here. I definitely don't love their bullpen. They did use a lot of it yesterday, too. They used 5 relief pitchers yesterday, and they're the lesser bullpen here. Miami used 4, but they only used Faucher for 2 pitches here. Faucher. for 2 pitches, so he'd probably be available again if they want to use him. Miami, their bullpen's been all right this year. They're 11th right now in bullpen whip. St. Louis is somewhere near the bottom. 23rd with a really bad bullpen ERA. So Miami has a better bullpen and a more rested bullpen. Miami's offense has been fairly good as well at 9th right now, which is not bad. St. Louis has been better than expected. They are 13th right now, but Miami seems to have the better hitting here. Michael McGreevy is pitching for St. Louis. He's off to a good start this season. 2.49 ERA, 0.83 whip. Those are definitely good numbers. He doesn't strike guys out, really. He's got 12 strikeouts in 21 2/3 innings, but he's not put a lot of guys on base either. 3 walks, 15 hits. That's pretty good. He's keeping guys off the base paths. St. Louis has won 3 of his 4 outings. He's allowed no more than 3 earned runs in any of them. He's gone at least 5 innings in 3 of the 4. He's pitching pretty well. He's been a little bit worse on the road, though. His one bad start, if you want to call it, that was at Detroit. Against Miami, I always have to switch over, man, because ESPN does not update right away. I hate that. They only have 19 at-bats against him, so they're not that familiar with him, but 4 strikeouts, no walks, 316 batting average allowed, 789 OPS. So his numbers, small sample, but his numbers are not that good against Miami. Max Meyer is pitching for Miami. I think there might be more. I think he has a higher ceiling, Max Meyer, let's say. He has more upside. I think he's got better strikeout stuff. He just has better stuff, so he may be able to outpitch McGreevy. I think McGreevy, like, basically what you see is what you get. Like, he's not going to strike guys out, but he's going to basically induce, like, weak contact and whatever. Meyer is a guy that can actually blow people away. Meyer, his career hasn't really taken off, though, and he's already 27, so that is a concern. 4.12 ERA this year, 1.32 whip. Not horrible. You'd like to see that whip be better, though. He has more than 1 strikeout an inning here, and he's allowed fewer than 1 hit per inning, but he's had 9 walks along with the 20 strikeouts in 19 2/3 innings, so the wildness is the problem with him. He's not gone more than 5 innings in any outing. He's got to get that wildness under control, man. That's been the issue. Against St. Louis, he's held them down in a small sample size, 12 at-bats, 1 strikeout, 1 walk. He's allowed a home run to Gorman, but other than that, he's held them to a 167 average, 731 OPS. So Meyer does have a little bit of the upper hand here. I think situationally doesn't really favor St. Louis that much, and I think Miami has a better bullpen with a little bit more rest. So I'm going to lean to Miami in this one. I think Meyer still might be a little bit under the radar. I think McGreevy might be a little bit overperforming here. Miami is getting the money. They're at minus 126 right now. 52% of tickets, 78% of the cash on Miami. So the money is agreeing with Miami there. That would be my lean, would be Miami. You think the Red Sox might sweep the Yankees? I don't think so. No way. I don't even think Crochet is lined up to pitch in that series. No, there's no way. If you look at the starting pitching matchups in that game, they could win early versus heel. The Red Sox definitely could win that game. I don't know about the rest, though. Let me see. Fried against Suarez. Yeah, I guess that is winnable as well on Wednesday. Schlittler against Bayo. There's no chance the Red Sox win that game. None. No chance that they win on Thursday. The Red Sox might be able to go 2-1 in that series, would be my guess. They need to start playing better. Their offense needs to be way better than it is right now. They have huge problems right now. And again, it's not the talent. It's the managing, the coaching. Atlanta at Washington is on ESPN Unlimited here. Washington was able to avoid the sweep yesterday by shutting out San Francisco. They are staying at home. Might not be the worst spot for Washington here, even though that was a big win. Sometimes teams off of shutouts will be somewhat in letdown mode, but probably not here. I mean, it's a big deal for them to be playing Atlanta. Atlanta's been really hot to start the season. It's a divisional series. Washington will show up here. And Atlanta, I mean, they're hot right now. They've won 5 in a row, all divisional games, and just swept Philadelphia on the road. So you want to talk about letdown. Even though Philadelphia's not off to a good start, that's still a big series sweep for Atlanta, so they could be in more of a letdown spot coming into Washington here. Atlanta has had the better bullpen, though, and pretty significantly so, although Atlanta did use 5 relief pitchers yesterday. And some of these teams played extra inning games, by the way. Cincinnati played extra innings yesterday. St. Louis and Houston did. Minnesota with Cincinnati. And then Cubs and Mets did. And some of those teams are playing today, which we're talking about some of them. So some of those teams went into extra innings. But you can kind of see how it affected the bullpens just by looking at the bullpen usage, though, which I think is more important than what happens to the hitting, really, because hitting doesn't take as much out of you, man, Even fielding, base running does it. It's really the pitching that does. Because you're, just totally worked up on every single play. But yes, Atlanta used 5 of their relief pitchers yesterday, which is not great. Washington's bullpen is definitely worse, but they only use 1 relief pitcher. So Washington does have a bullpen rest advantage here. But Atlanta's had the best bullpen in baseball so far this year somehow, and Washington's is one of the several worst. So even with the rest, I don't even know if that negates that entirely. Washington's bullpen, maybe it evens the playing field a little bit as far as the bullpens. Atlanta's also had the second best offense so far, and Washington's been 5th. I'm not so sure that is going to continue. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really see that continuing, but the offenses have hit well so far. Maybe this is going to be a game where they do hit. Bryce Elder's pitching for the Braves here. He has really good numbers so far this year with a .77 ERA, which is unheard of, and 1.03 whip. Obviously, there's going to be a regression here, though. Elder, dude, he's hard to figure out because he had this lull where he was just pitching horribly. I think he was coming back from injury. He was pretty good earlier in his career. Since the end of last season, like late last season, he's been pitching better again. Not really a strikeout guy, but this year his strikeout numbers are pretty good. 23 and 1/3 innings, 7 walks, 17 hits allowed. None of this is bad. He's allowed no runs in 3 of his 4 starts. All 3 of those with wins. He picked up a win in 2 of those, but the Braves won all 3 games. They've only lost once with him on the mound. That's some pretty crazy stuff. His numbers against Washington are really not good, though. In 44 at-bats, 4-2 strikeout walk ratio, 386 average allowed, 958 OPS. That is not the type of thing you want to see. That's not good. He is going up against Jake Irvin, which, whoops, I keep misclicking here. I want to keep the schedule up. Jake Irvin, not off to a good start this season. 6.16 ERA, 1.47 whip. These are bad numbers, dude. Too many walks. 21 strikeouts, 11 walks in 19 innings, 17 hits allowed. The strikeout rate is good. The walk rate is not good, and he's allowed 8 walks in his last 2 starts. His one home start wasn't as bad as far as wildness, but he got lit up anyway by the Dodgers. I know it's the Dodgers, but still didn't pitch well in that home start either. Atlanta also has been hitting pretty well this year, so I don't know if this is going to be that easy for him. His numbers against Atlanta are okay. They've seen a lot of him. 88 at-bats, 18 to 10 strikeout walk ratio. Not great. 250 batting average allowed, 702 OPS. Those are mediocre numbers. I'm going to lean over in this game. You have 2 offenses that are definitely capable. Washington's bullpen is bad. Atlanta used a lot of their bullpen yesterday, so their bullpen might struggle in this one as well. Elder probably is going to regress a little bit. He has bad matchup numbers, and Irvin is just not good. So there are a lot of components that make it seem like an over makes sense here. The total actually dropped from 9 juice to the over to 8 juice to the over. Pretty significant move there. So you're at a pretty good number there with 8. 70% of tickets, 95% of the cash on the over. So the money looks like it is kind of agreeing on the over. I'll agree with the over there. Atlanta's also down to minus 155 on the money line. I still don't really know if Elder deserves to be that much of a road favorite, although I don't think Washington's very good. 84% of tickets, 83% of the cash on Atlanta. Atlanta's definitely a public side with less of the money on them. I'd probably agree with it and lean to Washington. You could go first 5 innings to take out the disastrous Washington bullpen, but Maybe you don't even want to because their bullpen is at least rested, and the situation kind of lines up on Washington. So I would lean to Washington, but I think my preference in that game would be over. All right. Yeah, Brad, you're on the Red Sox. Houston and Washington, I agree with those. Hawks at T-Wolves, Penguins, Stars. Yeah, you're spraying the board too much, man. I think you're not being selective enough, in my opinion. But I do have a play. Both of my plays are included in those. I will tell you that. I have 2 plays today, and they are, you mentioned both of them. We already know the Red Sox is one of them. The other one is in hockey. Baltimore at Kansas City. And I think I actually agree with all of those, but those NBA ones, I just don't want any part of those NBA ones. It's just, underdogs that expectedly lose the first game. I got nothing as far as that's concerned. Kansas City is playing Baltimore. Kansas City's lost 7 games in a row. Sorry, Zach. They're coming off getting swept by the Yankees. Maybe Kansas City's not this bad, though, because they lost at Detroit and at the Yankees. Those are pretty good teams, so maybe you got to give them a pass for that. Kansas City is returning home from a road trip, though, so that is a problem. This game is on Fox Sports 1, it looks like. I talk about when teams return home from road trips, a lot of times they won't bounce back, and they will have a little bit of an issue having to get back to home life, whatever. So that's not great for Kansas City. Baltimore might be a bit focused because they've been on a bad losing stretch as well. They've lost 5 of 6 here. Losing the series to Cleveland, they might show up. Their travel spot's a little bit better just going from Cleveland to Kansas City here in the middle of a road trip. So the situation does favor Baltimore here. Baltimore, believe it or not, does have the better bullpen here. Kansas City is dead last right now in bullpen whip, and their ERA is one of the worst as well. I think the worst. That's not good. Very, very bad Kansas City bullpen so far, even though I thought they wouldn't be anywhere near this bad because they weren't this bad last year at all. Baltimore's bullpen has actually been pretty decent. They're third, actually, in bullpen whips. So Baltimore definitely has had the better bullpen. Kansas City's offense hasn't been good either. They're third worst. Baltimore, not great, but at 20th in OPS. So Baltimore has the better offense as well. So Baltimore has the situation, the bullpen, the offense. Baltimore only used 2 relief pitchers yesterday. That's pretty good for them. Kansas City used 3, so Baltimore has a little bit more rest in their bullpen as well. A lot of things favor Baltimore, but I don't know if the starting pitching does. Bradish is pitching for Baltimore. Kyle Bradish, his numbers are not good this year. 5.49 ERA, 1.63 whip. Although if you look at his career, he should improve from this. His numbers are not that bad throughout his career. He hasn't gotten annihilated in any of his starts. He's allowed 4 or fewer earned runs in every outing, so it hasn't been maybe as bad as it appears. 19 2/3 innings. He's allowed too many hits, 22, too many walks, 10. Strikeout rate is pretty good, though, at 21. Decent ground ball rate as well, above the fly ball rate. So I do think Bradish is going to get better than this. I don't think his numbers totally tell the whole story here. He is going up against Kansas City offense that has not been good, so he might be able to do well against them here. They've only had 11 at-bats against him. Only 3 of their hitters have ever even seen him. 1 extra base hit, a double from India. 3.0 strikeout walk ratio, 182 average, allowed 455 OPS. Bradish, fairly unfamiliar to Kansas City, and the guys that have tried to hit against him haven't done well, so Bradish might do okay here, but he is going to have to go up against Seth Lugo, who is having a good season. Again, the advanced analytics guys continue to not like him, and I keep saying, well, I think he's a decent pitcher. I think I keep getting proven right. I don't think he's this good. I think he will regress a bit, but 1.48 ERA, 0.99 whip. Can't really complain about that. His strikeout rate not crazy high, but 21 in 24 and a third. He's only allowed 6 walks and 18 hits, so he's keeping runners off the bases. He's only allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in every outing, 1 or fewer in 3 of the 4. A couple of these outings, the offense just didn't help him at all. He's been good in every single start pretty much, so Lugo is pitching well right now. He's going up against Baltimore here. His numbers against Baltimore are pretty good. They only have 4 hitters who have faced him. 20 at bats. They only have 2 hits, 1 extra base hit, a double from Henderson. Oh, 2 extra base hits, a home run, from Cowser. 7-2 strikeout walk ratio, 100 average allowed, 482 OPS. I would go under in this game is what I would do. The money seems like it's agreeing. Total is flipped to 9, juice to the under. You want to try to get that under 9 if you can here. I worry about Bradish, in his current form here. But yeah, I like the under. 80% of tickets, 90% of the cash on the under. This one's not quite on my card, but the matchup numbers look pretty good to me. Kansas City's bullpen is an issue, so if you want to go under first 5 innings, you definitely could do that too, just to take Kansas City's bullpen out of the equation. Baltimore's bullpen might hold up their end of the bargain, though. And the money is coming in on Baltimore, and I don't really disagree with that. Like I said, I think Baltimore has a situational advantage here. Plus, Bradish, I think, is better than he looks at the very least, and Baltimore's bullpen and hitting are better. -110 is the price there. It's basically pick the winner. 65% of the cash on Baltimore, 67% of tickets on Kansas City. I'm pretty surprised Kansas City, with their bad stretch, is getting this amount of tickets, but Baltimore has not been playing well either recently. But yeah, I would lean Orioles, but I think I would prefer, actually, first 5 under is probably my preference in that game, but I don't want to put that one on my card. Philadelphia at the Cubs. This is a pretty good matchup here. Cubs are hot right now. They've won 5 in a row. Just swept the Mets, who can't seem to win a game ever. Cubs had to go to extra innings to do it yesterday, but they are staying at home. Philadelphia coming in from home after getting swept and losing 5 in a row. This is also quick revenge, by the way, because Philadelphia just played the Cubs at home prior to that, and that started this losing streak, with the Cubs putting up double-digit runs in each of the last 2 games after Philadelphia did it in the first game of that series. So this is kind of a quick revenge spot for Philadelphia. So Philadelphia might have a little bit of an extra motivational edge here for that reason. Probably has me leaning towards Philadelphia based on the situation. As far as the bullpens, yeah, the Cubs had to go to extra innings. They used 4 relief pitchers. That's a decent amount. Philadelphia did use even more, though. Philadelphia used 5. I think, did they go into extra innings yesterday, too? No, but Philadelphia played the night game. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. Atlanta and Philadelphia both played the night game. So that might be a little bit of a fade spot there, especially a fade of Atlanta because they won the night game. Atlanta having to do a quick turnaround time, and Atlanta's having to travel to Washington. Philadelphia is having to travel to Chicago. So both teams are having to travel. So that is a negative, that quick turnaround time off of the night game. Good thing I remembered that because I forgot. That might be the one thing that keeps me off of Philadelphia here because I like Philadelphia in this game. I think otherwise, looking at the bullpens, Philadelphia, their whip is better than their ERA looks. So they haven't been that bad. They're actually 9th in bullpen whip. Cubs are 8th. So both bullpens have been fine. As far as the hitting, the Cubs have started coming around. They're 6th now in offense. The Cubs have definitely started hitting. Philadelphia has not. Philadelphia's 23rd right now in offense. So Chicago does have the better offense here. The Cubs, obviously, not the White Sox. But Philadelphia might come around at some point, man. Their offense has too much talent to be this poor on offense. Aaron Nola is pitching. He's been okay this season so far. 4.03 ERA. 1.3 whip is definitely a bit too high. He's trying to come back from injury, man. He had a really difficult season last year trying to come back from injury. Started pitching better at the end of the year. And he hasn't been that bad this year. He has a 24-6 strikeout walk ratio in 22 1/3 innings. So his command is good. His strikeout rate is there. The walks aren't that bad. He's allowed 1 hit more than the amount of innings pitched, basically, which even that's not that bad. He's allowed 3 or fewer earned runs in every outing. He's not pitching that badly, man, although, yes, the Cubs just saw him. But like I said, sometimes that's an advantage to the hitters when the hitters just saw a pitcher because they're used to him. But with a guy like Nola that's been around for so long, the Cubs have seen him a ton, so I don't think the fact that they just saw him is really going to help them that much. And he might pitch a little bit better because he actually didn't pitch that well in that game. Overall, his numbers are pretty good against the Cubs. They have 207 at-bats against him. 57-16 strikeout walk ratio is not too bad. 217 batting average allowed, 631 OPS. Yeah, Nola has done pretty well against them for the most part. He's going up against Colin Ray, who I think is overperforming this year. His numbers are good. 3.63 ERA, 0.98 whip. Yeah, that's good stuff. He's allowed 3 or fewer earned runs in all of his outings as well. His first outing was a relief appearance. Then I think he's had to join the starting rotation after Cade Horton got hurt. Or actually, I think he's only made 2 starts, actually. After 2 relief appearances, I think that's the case. And again, the advantage that the hitters might have kind of gets negated because Ray just pitched in that series against Philadelphia as well. And he pitched pretty well. He went 6 innings. He had 3 earned runs. If Nola pitched in the same game, Ray actually outpitched him. Yeah. Ray actually was a follower in that game. So Ray actually didn't even make the start in front of him. So I would say if you want to play this game, you pretty much know that Ray is going to come in and probably pitch 5 or 6 innings, but they might put an opener in front of him. So what I would say is if you're going to handicap this game, handicap it like he is starting, but play it action because the Cubs might put an opener in front of him, and that doesn't change the handicap that much. You know what I mean? As long as Ray is going to be pitching for a starter's workload in the game, your handicap is still going to be pretty much on point for the game. So I would say go action on this one just because the Cubs have a habit of putting an opener in front of Ray. But he's pitched better that way. Against Philadelphia, his numbers are not bad. In 106 at-bats, 24-3 strikeout walk ratio, 236 average, allowed 644 OPS. So he has pitched pretty well. I think it's a little bit of a wash. The money is coming in on the Cubs. They flipped from plus 102 to minus 110. 50-50 on the tickets, 59% of the cash on the Cubs. I'm going to lean to Philadelphia, though. I think Philadelphia might have a slight edge in this game. Starting pitching-wise, bullpens are pretty close. Maybe the bullpen rest helps Philadelphia a little bit. Hitting, I think, should come around a little bit, even though the Cubs do have a little bit of an advantage there. And I think the situation favors Philly in what I think is a pretty close matchup here, which the odds makers are telling you it is. I would lean Philly in that one. All right, let me see. We're only at 41 minutes here. All right, Dodgers at Colorado. These teams are finishing a series. Colorado, believe it or not, won the last 2 games so far of the series, so the Dodgers are trying to even the series here. Man, I mean, the Dodgers are the better team, and they might show up here after losing 2 games in the series. They don't want to lose a series to the Rockies, so I think you might actually get motivation out of the Dodgers, and maybe it's a situation where they won't be looking ahead, even though they do play San Francisco next, which I already mentioned. But yeah, the Dodgers having to play a game where they in Coors Field where they might actually have to put in an effort. That's something. The Dodgers used a lot of their relief pitching yesterday. They used 6 relievers yesterday. That's not good. Colorado only used 3. Dodgers bullpen has been pretty good so far. They're 6th right now in whip, but Colorado's has not been that bad, I don't believe. Where are they at? Yeah, they're at 7th. So Colorado, more rested bullpen, might actually help them a little bit in this game. Dodgers, obviously the number 1 offense. I mean, I think that's legitimate. They've been there pretty much all season so far, and I don't see them not being there for the rest of the season. I think they'll be pretty much right there. Colorado has fallen off a bit. They're 17th on offense right now, though they do hit better at home. They've been hitting a bit better in this series. Justin Robleski is pitching for the Dodgers. He's pitched well so far, 2.12 ERA, 0.76 whip. He's definitely not a strikeout guy. He only has 6 strikeouts in 17 innings, 5 walks. So that ratio is obviously not good, but only 8 hits allowed. He's keeping runners off the bases. I think he will regress a little bit. I don't think he's this good, but, he's a guy that comes out there. He could do okay, relies on command, He's coming off an 8-inning shutout of the Mets, but we know the Mets haven't been hitting well at all recently. But, yeah, you can't knock what he's done so far. And his numbers against the Rockies are all right. 17 at-bats. They don't have that many at-bats against him. 4.0 strikeout walk ratio. 235 average allowed. 529 OPS. That's not bad. He is going up against Jose Quintana. So we have 2 non-strikeout pitchers here, 2 pitchers that rely on control. Quintana has not had a good season so far. 5.63 ERA, 1.88 whip. And he hasn't even pitched at Coors Field yet, so that's not a good sign. I looked at his history. He hasn't pitched at Coors Field for like years. Wroblewski actually pitched in Coors Field twice last year, and he actually had a 5-inning, 7-strikeout, 2-run performance in like a start, basically. I think it was a start or a starter's workload game in Coors Field. I'm talking about Wroblewski right now. And he had a relief appearance that wasn't as good, but he didn't allow any runs in it, although he put a couple guys on base. So Wroblewski did pitch in Coors Field last year twice. He pitched okay. Quintana hasn't pitched in this stadium. He's probably pitched there before, but I think it's been years since he's pitched in this stadium. So that might not be good for him, for Quintana. So Wroblewski has more familiarity with the stadium. Quintana against the Dodgers hasn't been that good in 90 at-bats, 13-13 strikeout walk ratio is not good. Ohtani has 3 home runs off him in 7 at-bats. 267 average allowed, 859 OPS. Not great. I think the Dodgers get this game, but how do you play this? You can't lay minus 255 on the road with Wroblewski on the mound, man. 93% of tickets, 96% of the cash on the Dodgers. I mean, I guess you could run line the Dodgers here, but you're going to need them to win by multiple runs. That doesn't seem great. The money's coming in on the over. If you want to go over Dodgers team total, you could do that. You're going to need them to put up like 7 runs in the game, though, if you want that. So, I don't know, man. I don't see a great way of playing this game. I really don't. I mean, if you want to get this price somehow down, maybe you go with like Wroblewski to get a win in the game and hope that the Dodgers bullpen holds, hope that they have the lead once he goes out of the game. I don't know if you can rely on him to actually necessarily get you 5 innings into the game, though, so I don't love that either. Yeah, I do think the best way to probably play it is Dodgers over their team total, but you're going to need them to get a lot of runs in that one for that to happen. I don't love it, man. The game is basically hard. It's unplayable pretty much. Total's at 11.5, so it's, it's a Coors Field total. Let's just put it that way. Toronto at Anaheim. Anaheim just lost 2 games to San Diego at home. They're staying at home here, so Anaheim might bounce back from that. Toronto did beat Arizona. They ended a 4-game losing streak yesterday, so they're coming into this game with some new momentum here as well, so not really a negative for either team here. Neither of these bullpens are good. Anaheim, let me see. They used only 2 relievers yesterday, so that's not bad for them. Toronto used 3. So the bullpens, they're not totally used up right now, but they haven't been good. Let me see here. Angels 22nd in bullpen whip. That's not good. Toronto 19th. Bad bullpen numbers here. So these are definitely fadeable bullpens. Angels have hit pretty well so far this year. They're at 8th in offense, so they've definitely been producing runs. Toronto, they have a decent offense, but they've dealt with injuries and stuff. They're at 16th right now, but definitely both teams can put up runs if you want them to. Dylan Cease is pitching for Toronto. His numbers do look good, 1.74 ERA, 1.26 whip, but the same issues that Cease always have not ceased. He's walked multiple guys in every outing. He's walked 3 or more in his last 3 outings. Granted, maybe you give him a pass because he faced the Dodgers and Milwaukee the last 2. Only give up 1 earned run across those 11 innings, but he's not going deep into games. He's inefficient with his pitches. His strikeout rate is almost too high at 32 and 20 and 2/3 innings. Only allowed 14 hits. Yeah, he's unhittable. He's getting a lot of strikeouts, but he's wild. 12 walks is insane. Way too many walks. And yeah, I don't know, man. I just think Cease is a bit overrated. He does not take full advantage of how good his strikeout stuff is, and he doesn't get you deep enough into games a lot of the time. Against the Angels, he's done well, though, in 86 at-bats, a really good 34-4 strikeout walk ratio, and all 4 walks are Soler, who's 1 for 23 off him with 13 strikeouts, and Trout is 1 for 9 with 6 strikeouts off him. So he's really kind of dominated these guys. 186 batting average, allowed 559 OPS. He's dominated the 2 best hitters in this lineup pretty much. So the matchup is pretty good for Cease here. He's going up against Reed Detmers, who was supposed to pitch yesterday. I don't know why his start got pushed back. I handicapped him yesterday, but I guess we have to re-handicap him. Reed handicap. He's got a 3.57 ERA, 1.06 whip. Not bad numbers this year at all. 26-6 strikeout walk ratio and 18 hits allowed in 22 and 2/3 innings. None of that is bad. However, his worst outing did come at home here against Atlanta, but we know Atlanta's been hitting pretty well. He is going up against a team that has not been hitting quite as well here in Toronto. Detmers is also coming off his best start where he went to the Bronx and held the Yankees to 1 earned run in 7 innings, 9 strikeouts, no walks. Maybe he'll be in a little bit of a letdown, though, after that. Like I said yesterday, that was almost too good of a start for him there. Against Toronto, his numbers are decent in 45 at-bats, 5-2 strikeout walk ratios, whatever, not great, but 267 average, allowed 676 OPS. They haven't really been able to hit Detmers too well. I think an under makes sense in this game, dude. The money's coming in towards the over. I would go first 5 under. I think the money has actually driven the total down as well, though. Like it's on 8 juice to the under. You might be looking at a 7.5 here, which is really crazy for a Toronto-Anaheim game. 50% of tickets are on the under here, but 90% of the cash on the over. I think under first 5 innings actually makes a lot of sense here, though, given these matchup numbers here. That might be the way I would play this. I don't mind Toronto in the game either, really. I think the situation is a little bit better for them, maybe. Toronto's at minus 120. I don't fully trust Cease, but 69% of tickets, 92% of the cash on Toronto. You know, Toronto, their hitting probably isn't too much worse. Their bullpen might be a little bit better than Anaheim's. Starting pitching probably is a little bit of an edge for Toronto, so I don't disagree with Toronto, but I think under first 5 might be the better approach. Although, again, like I said, the cash percentage is not agreeing with that. Oh, you were reacting to what I said earlier, yeah. Yes, you got to be more selective, man. That's what I'm saying. My win-loss record, I mean, this is like unsustainably good, but yeah, like, you know, I mean, I've been doing this for almost 2 decades, and my win-loss record over that entire span is a winning record, you know, so, and profitable. A's at Seattle is the last game here, so we're in pitcher-friendly Seattle again. Seattle's staying at home. They did just win the series against Texas. Don't know if they're really going to come in and overlook the A's, though, because Seattle can't really overlook teams here right now. Seattle actually behind the A's in the standings, so they really can't overlook them. The A's are going to show up, too, though. The A's just lost a home series to the White Sox. That's not good, so I think they're going to show up with some effort. They get to go out on the road, start a road trip, staying in the Pacific time zone. Usually that is a focus spot, so I think both teams are going to want to get this game. A's bullpen used 3 relief pitchers yesterday. They are definitely the lesser of the 2 bullpens, though. Seattle only used 2. You got to give Seattle a bullpen edge here. Seattle has fallen off a little bit in the bullpen numbers. They're at 16th right now, but their ERA is at least pretty good. Not a bad bullpen. The A's bullpen is not very good. At 25th, they're not a good bullpen. A's might have the slightly better offense right now. Both offenses have underperformed, though. A's 22nd, Seattle 24th in overall OPS, so I don't know about that. But, yeah, I mean, I think both offenses are better than what they've shown so far. JT Ginn is pitching for the A's here. Good numbers on the season, 3.31 ERA, 0.98 whip. But, you know, you dive into his numbers a little bit. Well, first of all, he has mostly made relief appearances, so that's kind of a concern. 11-7 strikeout walk ratio is certainly not good. It's way too many walks in 16 1/3 innings. Not much of a strikeout guy. He's only allowed 9 hits, but, I mean, I think he's like kind of a serviceable pitcher. He gets a pitcher-friendly environment here, but I don't think he's that trustworthy of a pitcher, really. Going up against Seattle, his numbers are mediocre and 15 at-bats. It's not many at-bats. 5.1 strikeout walk ratio, 267 average allowed, 713 OPS. Not great, really, but not horrible. He's going up against Emerson Hancock, who is pitching pretty well this year. 2.28 ERA, 0.76 whip. Hancock has been good so far this year, man. Really nice looking 25-4 strikeout walk ratio, along with 14 hits allowed in 23 2/3 innings. Hancock is on fire right now. He struggled early in his career, but maybe He might be coming around here, man. If he's good and Seattle has him and, Gilbert, Kirby, Wu, this is like a really, really good starting pitcher rotation. And they're pretty good. A lot of these guys pitch pretty well at home. For Hancock, it doesn't really seem to matter that much. He's been good either way. He's pitching really well this year, but you got to worry about maybe regression here because if you look at his career numbers, they're not near this, but maybe he's found, maybe he's figured it out and he's starting to actually become a really good pitcher. That is possible. He's young enough that, maybe that is the case. I think he might be more trustworthy than Ginn here. His numbers against the A's are pretty good in 23 at-bats, 4-2 strikeout walk ratio, 174 batting average allowed, 588 OPS. The money is fading Seattle here, but I don't think I agree with that sentiment. Seattle minus 155 here, 85% of tickets, 74% of the cash. Public is on Seattle. The money is fading Seattle, but I think I would lean Seattle here. I think that might be the best approach here. I think maybe this Hancock stuff is real enough. It's at least real enough that I think he can do well against an offense that hasn't done that well against him. I think he's more trustworthy than Ginn. I think he's more likely to get deeper into this game. Seattle's bullpen is the better bullpen. Yeah, I think Seattle is the right side in that game, but the money is completely disagreeing with it. So do with that information what you want. Josh, what's up, man? No. Somewhere on the screen, like a graphic. I haven't thought about that. No, I don't know. It seems, I don't know. I guess I could figure something out with, I don't know how I would do that in StreamYard. I don't know how you can add like an additional graphic here because I'm screen sharing. I don't know how I would like add another. Yeah, I don't know if it could be part of, there might be like part of the layout settings. I have no idea. I don't know, but if I do that, people won't watch. Right? Like, don't I want people to I want people to watch to try to find where my plays are during the show. Trying to get people to watch this whole show, man. I also don't know if, I don't really want to, like, I don't know. Listing, like, the leans as well. Like, I don't know. I don't want, like, you know what I'm doing here. Like, I give out, like, what my actual plays are, and then I give out what my opinions are on the rest of the games. Yeah, those are leans, but you got to kind of take some of those with a grain of salt. I guess they do well more often than they don't, but still, like, I don't know, man. I don't want to, like, mislead people with a graphic like that. Like, I don't know. It seems like it might add to confusion. I don't think I want to do that. All right, I'm going to be right back, and then I'm going to go to NHL here. We have playoffs to talk about here. One of these series hasn't started yet, which is really bizarre, which is why it's first in the rotation order. Anaheim-Edmonton. I don't know what's going on with that, but we will have one hockey play here. I'm going to talk about NBA, but I'm going to skip the NBA board today. I'll be right back. All right, hockey, let's go. We'll go chronologically here. We have two games on ESPN, two games on ESPN2. Philadelphia at Pittsburgh is the first game up. Philadelphia won the first game in a close game, 3-2. I kind of expect this to be another battle here. Philadelphia has been pretty decent on the road, by the way, and Pittsburgh's been all right at home as well. Philadelphia's road record is actually a little bit better than Pittsburgh's home record, believe it or not. So something to take into account here. If we look at what happened in this game, Philadelphia won with a late goal here. Philadelphia was winning the game 3-1. Or excuse me, Philadelphia was winning 3-1. Never mind. The late goal came from. It was a late goal that pushed it to 3-1. But Pittsburgh scored the last goal to cut it to 3-2. But if you look at the stats, Pittsburgh did win a decent majority of the faceoffs, 59%. Had fewer shots. Pittsburgh wasn't getting a lot of shots on goal in that game. It was a close game for the most part statistically, so not really a misleading result. I will lean to Pittsburgh in this game, though. Pittsburgh, when you get a home team that loses game one, you usually get a massive effort from them in game two. So, because you cannot go down 0-2 and then have to go on the road, you know what I mean? Even though this is an interstate series here, or intrastate, I don't know, whatever the word is. These teams don't have to travel far in this series. Let's put it that way. 56% of tickets, 94% of the cash on Pittsburgh. They're at minus 148 right now. I would agree with the Pittsburgh side. Again, a team that falls down 0-1 at home, usually get a big effort out of them in the next game, especially as a favorite. But this one is not going to be on my card. Although this is my second strongest hockey lean of the day, so I agree with Brad on these games here. It was Brad, right? I'm losing track here. Oh, shit. But you watch when you're driving to work? Oh, shit. I try to remind people at the end of the show, I give out my plays one more time at the end. I don't even remember what my leans are, man. I could try to sort of recap that at the end. I don't know. I am going to tell you that Pittsburgh is my second strongest hockey opinion, though. I will tell you that. For baseball, I don't know. I'll try to recap it at the end of the show, maybe. Ottawa at Carolina here. Carolina did win the first game 2-0. Dive into the box score, see was there anything misleading about it. I don't know. Ottawa did win the faceoff, so Carolina was massively physical in the game. 57 hits is unheard of. Carolina had more shots as well. Carolina, for the most part, they were the better team in the game. I think they are the better team. I don't really have much of an opinion on this game, really. I think Carolina is going to wind up winning the series, of course. They have a really good home record. Ottawa's been okay on the road, but Carolina pretty dominant at home. Don't really think Carolina's going to lose. They're up to minus 147. You could make, there are arguments for zigzags here, but I don't think the zigzag is a thing when, when the outcome in the first game was basically expected. It was pretty much expected Carolina was going to win that game. It wasn't an outlier or anything like that. Maybe Ottawa will try to show up for this game. And if they fall down 0-2, they, at least do get to fall back on, yes, we have some home games where we can get some wins here, but 56% of tickets on Ottawa, 76% of the cash on Carolina. So the money is indicating on Carolina here. I don't really disagree with it. In fact, I actually like all the home teams in hockey today, but I think Pittsburgh is a stronger opinion, and I think the strongest opinion is what I'm actually going to recommend as a bet in the Minnesota-Dallas game later at night here. So we have an early game and a late game today. This is the other best bet. We're going to go with Dallas money line, minus 130 here. This is another one of those spots where the home team lost the first game, and you cannot afford to lose two games at home, man, and then have to go on the road. Basically, the series is on the line, so you're going to get an effort out of that home team. They lost 6-1, and when you see an outlier like that and the road underdog wins 6-1, that is a situation where you might want to fade them in the next game because Minnesota might be pretty high on themselves after that win. Maybe they might overlook Dallas a little bit here. Dallas is going to have the adjustments to make. But also when you dive into this box score and whatever, this game was not lopsided statistically. Dallas won the faceoffs very slightly. The shots were very even. Minnesota was a bit more physical, but this game, you look at this stat recap here, there's no way that would indicate to you that this was a 6-1 finish. It was a bad game for Dallas, and I think, Ottinger, he's much, much better than this. You look at what happened in this game, a power play goal happened early on for Minnesota, and that kind of set the tone. They had another power play goal and an empty net goal late. So this game wasn't exactly what it appeared to be. And they had kind of one of those bursts in the second period where sometimes when a team scores, they have this run where they score a few times really quickly. That does happen in hockey. You got to avoid, I don't know what they call it in hockey, the burst, the goal burst. You got to avoid that, I guess. But other than that, yeah, the game was not really what it appeared. Dallas is going to show up, I think, with a lot of intensity in this one. Dallas has a lot of experience here, man. I mean, they've been to the conference finals, I think, multiple years in a row, if I'm not mistaken here. They know what they're doing. They've been in this type of position before. We're going to go with Dallas. They're at minus 133. I know they were like minus 120 something in the first game. So the odds makers are aware of this zigzag phenomenon, but we're still getting a pretty reasonable price here. I see it at minus 130 out there. I think that is fine. It's not that much different from minus 120, whatever. 84% of tickets, 94% of the cash on Dallas. We're going with Dallas in this one. That is my one hockey play there. Oh, yeah, and then, I usually just kind of call attention to the home road records here. Minnesota's been decent on the road. Dallas has been a bit better at home, though, than Minnesota's road record, which is, it's expected. It's home advantage, right? They're not one of those teams where the home advantage is, nothing or whatever. Anaheim at Edmonton. This is a series. This series hasn't started yet. This series might be very home-centric. These teams, location-wise, they're far away from each other. The travel between the games might give, when we get to game 3, looking to play, if Anaheim goes 0-2 in the first 2 games, and then the teams have to travel to Anaheim, Anaheim is a really good home team. Anaheim might be a play for me in that game in game 3. We'll see what happens, but I think this is going to be a very home-oriented series. I think Edmonton does have a decent advantage here being at home. Edmonton's got experience because they've been in the finals the last 2 years, so they know what they're doing here. Have no idea if Draisaitl is back or not here for Edmonton because he has been hurt. Edmonton is a decent-sized favorite here. They're pretty good at home. Not as good as you would expect, but Anaheim is just not good on the road, dude. Anaheim has some really big home road disparities here, and they're below 500 on the road, even not including overtimes. Not great. Much, much better at home, so I don't know if I love that for Anaheim. Anaheim hasn't been to the playoffs for a bit now. Let me see. Anaheim did have to win their last game to really make sure they were getting into the playoffs. I think they beat Nashville, which was a pretty decent win. Edmonton won their last game against Vancouver, but that was obviously whatever. Vancouver's the worst team in hockey, but Edmonton's not having to travel because that game was at home. Maybe a little bit of an extra edge here. Of course, first game of the series, teams could start out a little bit slow because these teams haven't played for a while, but yeah, I think it's Edmonton's game to lose, in my opinion. They're up from minus 150 to minus 163 here. 78% of tickets, 93% of the cash in Edmonton. I think Edmonton wins the game. They're a bit highly priced. Maybe it's justified. You could make your own minus 1 puck line here. Maybe go. I don't love dealing with overs in these first games of series though. Because, the offenses could start slow and whatever. The total is high, though. It's at 6.5, and that's pretty much because Edmonton, they score a lot, and they don't play very good defense. So, long term, I don't love Edmonton's prospects for that reason. But in a game like this, I think they will win. This says Draisaitl is expected to come back during the series. We still have no idea when. I don't know if it's that big of a deal, really, anyway. Even though he's one of their best players. Again, it's hockey. Your best players are only out there for about half the game, maybe. So, whatever. But yeah, I lean to Edmonton in the game. I don't have that strong of an opinion on it, but I think Edmonton, more advantages for them. I guess you could lean more towards a puck line or maybe go Edmonton over their team total or something like that. But again, gets a little bit iffy if you think the offenses are going to start slow. You need hot offense for most of the time there. All right, and then we have NBA. Every game is on NBC and Peacock for the NBA here. I don't have much going on with these games here, man. The home favorites in these 3 games that are being played today all won and covered their first games. So it was not unexpected. I thought Cleveland would win and cover, even though they lost all 3 games to Toronto outright this season. They won and covered like I thought. I think the game went slightly over as well. The totals in these games, by the way, in the NBA games are all very close to where they were in game 1. Usually you see game 2 be a little bit higher scoring because now the offenses are in gear. There's a quick turnaround time. The defenses might not be as great in the second game, so overs tend to make more sense in these games like this. Maybe when you get to like a game, 6 or something, the over might make even more sense. 7, it depends what the series is. Like 7 usually want to go under though, even though the defenses might be tired. You usually get intense focus out of them. And usually there's some rest leading into that particular game anyway, at least. But anyway, because a lot of times the teams have to go back like to a different venue or whatever, so there's extra time off. But maybe that won't be the case with the way the NBA structures it now. Anyway, Cleveland's the better team here, man. I mean, you could make the argument. I mean, it looks like the underdogs are getting the money in all 3 games here. Like, you can make the same argument in all 3, right? That, maybe the favorite that won in the first game won easily enough that maybe they won't be as focused here. Cavs are at -8.5. They're basically laying the same price they were in the first game. 70% of tickets, only 63% of the cash on them. So the money is indicating on the Raptors in this one. Total is at 223, which I'm pretty sure that's what it was in the first game. But the money's indicating on the under in this game, believe it or not. I don't know if I would agree with an under there. I don't have a good gauge on the total. I mean, I'm not really a totals guy. Maybe just to zigzag the fact that the first game went over, but it wasn't some like insanely high-scoring game or anything. I'll probably agree with Toronto here plus the points slightly, but I don't love it. I don't really have much of a reason to do that because again the result in the first game was just as expected pretty much. Cleveland is the better team and they won and covered by a little bit, so I don't think there's really anything to see here. Really the same thing goes for Atlanta and the Knicks here. Atlanta could get hot from 3 and steal some games in the series. Like, I think this series might wind up being somewhat close. The first game wasn't a blowout, but the Knicks won and covered. I don't think the game was really that close. I think once the Knicks kind of built that lead, they just kind of ran away with it. Hawks did kind of make it a little bit close at the end. It was too little too late. They got within 8 late. Didn't really matter. But the money is coming in towards the Hawks here. The Knicks are basically laying the same price as they were in the first game at 5.5. 71% of tickets, only 68% of the cash on the Knicks. Money is indicating on the Hawks. And again, I don't have a reason to disagree with it. I don't have a strong opinion at all. But again, the losing team, may show up with a little bit more intensity. And the team that won and covered might not take the opponent as seriously. And, like Raptors, Hawks, maybe they'll make some adjustments coming into these games. Whereas the teams that won, maybe they don't have any adjustments to make, So there are some reasons for leaning that way, but it's not strong for me at all. And the money's coming in on the under in this game for what that's worth at a low total of 217. I think the first game, I think had a total right around that as well. And I believe the game went under by like 2 points or 1.5. No strong opinion on the under either. I mean, the Hawks want this game to be an over, though, so it's interesting that the Hawks are getting the money, but the under is getting money as well. I think the Hawks kind of need this game to be higher scoring and need to be hitting threes to do anything here. So we'll see. But the Knicks do allow threes, so maybe the Hawks will be able to get some games in the series. T-Wolves and Nuggets seem to have the strongest market indicators here. The Nuggets are a 7-point favorite. That has gone up to that key number from 6.5. I think they were 6.5 in the first game. So it has hit that key number a little bit here where that's when teams stop intentionally fouling, usually at that 3-possession threshold. 51% of tickets on the Nuggets, 75% of the cash on the T-Wolves. Definitely a high total at 232. It was around the same in the first game. I believe it went under. I don't remember. Let me see. Did it go under? Yeah, it definitely went under in that first game. But the game was actually close. So this is the one game that might be a little bit different from the other games, even though the money is actually strongly indicating on the T-Wolves. 75% of the cash on the T-Wolves, 51% of the cash on the Nuggets. Like I said, I thought the T-Wolves might cover in the first game, and they had chances to cover that. The game was not out of reach for the T-Wolves, and the T-Wolves definitely know how to play against Denver, in Denver, whatever. Yes, this is going to be their second game in a row in elevation, which is not that easy. But the T-Wolves have done this before. They've played Denver really tough before and beaten Denver in a playoff series before as well, I'm pretty sure, recently. This Minnesota team this year doesn't look to be quite as good, though. But Denver, there's always the chance that their defense is not up to par, though. I mean, they were pretty good in game 1, but this Denver defense does have some issues. Sure, they're crazy experience. So is Minnesota. The thing is, Denver might be the least likely of these 3 home favorites to overlook their opponent, though, because these teams just know each other. Denver knows that Minnesota has the ability to beat them. Game 1 was closer than these other 2 games were, even though Minnesota wound up not covering. Denver might not overlook Minnesota. Like, it might be the least likely that happens. So, the money's saying Minnesota. I don't really disagree with the Minnesota side here, but I think I have more reservations about that one than the other ones. Of course, that means Minnesota's going to win the game outright, probably, right? I don't know, man. I mean, there's star power on both sides here. Denver, still unclear how good or not good their defense is with Aaron Gordon back in the lineup here. You know me, you saw my bracket. I do have Denver getting to the conference finals here, but we'll see. It kind of remains to be seen. This is, I think, the most interesting of the 3 games, though. This series, I think, is really interesting because this Minnesota team, when they're playing at their best, they could definitely beat most of these other teams in this conference here, except for OKC. Well, maybe even OKC. I don't know. Yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I think Minnesota is the better defense getting points, though, so there is that. Even though their defense has had some issues at times, I think they're better than Denver's defense still by a bit. So those are my thoughts on him, man. I don't really have a strong opinion on those. I think I will have a play in the NBA tomorrow, though. Actually, I might. I might have a play in the NBA tomorrow. I think I will absolutely have a play on Wednesday in the NBA. I'm trying to be selective, as you know. That's what I try to do. All right, to recap today, the actual plays are the Red Sox money line in the Monday Marathon Monday game. It's coming up in about an hour. Dallas Stars at night is my other play on the money line. 2 small home money line favorites here, and that's what we're going with here. That's the whole thing today. As far as Major League Baseball, I don't know, man. If I'm doing a recap here and I have any other strong opinions here, I don't know, man. Like, what was my strongest opinion besides that one that I gave out as a play? Honestly, I think it's hard to say. It really is. First 5 inning under in that Baltimore-Kansas City game, definitely I found to be a bit enticing, so maybe that one. I don't know, man, but this is why I don't love to give out these, like, leans, because I think there is, like, a drop-off there sometimes. Sometimes they're stronger than other times, I don't really love it. And then NHL, like I said, my next strongest lean would be Pittsburgh. And then I don't really have anything in the NBA, dude. I don't even want to give out an opinion, really, in the NBA. I just don't have. The strongest market read is the T-Wolves, but I think that's the weakest of the 3, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't love it. I don't love any of the games. I think maybe the Hawks might be the most likely underdog to actually steal a game on that slate today, and that's just because the 3-point variance allows for more variance there, but they could just get blown out, too, if they're not hitting them. So, yeah, that's going to do it, man. I don't love it. But, yeah, you're betting on the Nuggets because it's 420. I'm pretty sure their Nuggets name means something else. I think it's a different kind of – it's chicken nuggets. No. It is gold nuggets with the Denver Nuggets. Yeah, I would not bet on the Nuggets. I would definitely not do that. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's fading a significant market read there. That's going to do it for me. You got my plays. Learn to Toad on Twitter. I appreciate it, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. You can subscribe to me on Twitter. That helps me out. Learn to Toad on Instagram. What else was I going to say? Like, subscribe to the channel here. Let's get this thing boosted. Let's get it monetized. Let's go. Audio helps me out as well. Listening over there, Apple, Spotify, whatever. Although I know you want the visuals as well. But, yeah, you can check that out over there. Spreaker, listening on that helps me out as well. Give me good reviews over there. Covered in Uke is my Uke channel on YouTube, so you can check that out as well. Patreon.com/LearnToToad for some bonus stuff that I have not kept up with at all, which I feel like I say every day. Got to get better at that. Yeah, I know. And LoserCast will be back tomorrow. Got to determine who I want to be my loser tomorrow. That's going to do it. Tonight, I believe I'm going to be, we're going to start the New York Giants podcast that I'm on, even though I'm a Boston guy. I'm not like a massive Patriots fan or anything, and I rooted for the Giants because I was a Patriot hater for a while, so I rooted for the Giants against them in both Super Bowls. I will be doing a Giants podcast with Ben Weir, Ben the Emo ANCAP, who is a big Giants fan. We may have Adam Nutter show up on the show at various points, although he seems to never be able to do shows. He is a Giant fan as well. It's going to be weird. The show's called The G Spot. I don't know where it's going to be. I'm assuming it's going to be on YouTube, but I think we're going to do a show tonight to like pregame the draft, basically, and talk about the draft. And I don't know much about the draft. I really don't. So we're going to just shoot the shit about it. So I think that's going to start tonight, I believe. So you can be on the lookout for that. That's going to do it. I appreciate it. Peace.